frantic mother came up to me saying her child was missing. I immediately initiated the lost child protocol. We searched for 20 minutes. Turns out she had left the child in the car because he was sleeping and I didn't want to wake him to buy the ticket yet. She wanted us to go to the parking lot and get him for her so she didn't have to walk back. It was 90 degrees out. We called the police and smashed her car window. A coach called two boys Dumb and Dumber. Those two proceeded to argue over who was dumb and who was dumber. I worked at a safari-style attraction where you ride a truck to see live animals. A guest complained that the lions were sleeping. I explained that lions are nocturnal and sleep about 20 hours a day. He said, "Well, poke them or something. I paid to see them roar." He then suggested we should have robotic lions instead because real animals are too lazy and boring. He demanded a refund on his ticket specifically because the giraffe didn't walk over to lick his hand. On college campus, a black guy walks up to a black girl he clearly knows, who is wearing a hat and sunglasses. "Ooh, girl, where you going looking all incognito?" Not exactly a conversation, but there's a guy in the dorm below me. He doesn't know this, but I can hear him through the vent in my floor. He has a young sibling, I think, and he sings to her over the phone at night. I fall asleep to it sometimes. Heard two guys trying to figure out what was wrong with their solution to a math assignment. They had gotten the result that x was equal to y, which couldn't be the case, they reasoned, because they're obviously different letters. One guy was seriously saying, "No, look, one is x and the other is y. They can't be equal." This was at university, in the math department. A woman lost her earring on a roller coaster. It fell into a restricted area filled with grass and gravel below the track. She demanded we stop the ride operations immediately so she could go look for it. It was a fake diamond earring from Walmart. When we said we checked the tracks after the park closes, she tried to climb the security fence. Police arrested her while she was dangling from the fence screaming about her precious jewelry. I heard this exchange years ago, leaving the theater after Kimi no Na wa. Japanese guy number one, "Huh? Foreigners? Did they understand the movie? I wonder what they think." Japanese guy number two, in the most indignant voice you can imagine. "You never care about what I think." I overheard a woman on a train, who claimed to be an accomplished magic witch, explain how you can brew most simple potions in an ordinary crock pot without losing much effectiveness versus a traditional flame-heated cauldron. She was also an aspiring singer-actress, so triple threat, I guess. Years ago, I worked in the dairy department of a grocery store. From time to time, we would have sales in which the price of a half-gallon of milk was less than half the price of a gallon of milk. I was never quite sure why we sold any gallon jugs during those periods, until one day while restocking, I overheard this gem. Lady 1. "Oh look, a sale on half-gallons." Lady 2. How many half-gallons are in a gallon?" Lady 1, without missing a single beat. 4. Lady 2. F***king, store name. I can overstate neither the speed with which Lady 1 replied to her friend, the confidence in her own answer, nor the immediacy with which the second lady both believed her and cursed my workplace. It was a thing of beauty. I overheard two people's epic encounter a while ago. So a woman comes into the bakery, and as soon as she steps in, a man greets her. He proceeds to ask her what's new and how she's been for the last 20 years. The woman obviously knew the guy, and they engage in a 10-ish minute talk about their spouses, kids, and jobs, basically everything new from the last 20 years. Then they decide to meet up next weekend and have a cup of coffee. The woman then asks him to say hi to his sister from her. And his response is, "I don't have a sister." At that point, both their faces were priceless. She asks him, "Wait, your name is Pete, right?" He responds, No, your name isn't Karen?" I burst into laughter sitting a few meters away. They had been talking to a complete stranger about the last 20 years of their lives. They said bye to each other in an extremely awkward manner and went on their way. Overheard a teenage boy buying a Valentine's card that said, "We are the same kind of weird." Shop assistant said, "Is this for your girlfriend?" And he said, "No, it's for my grandma." Overheard in Target. Little girl, probably 6/7 years old, clutching an Anakin lightsaber in her hands. "Mom, don't you want to buy some fun kitchen toys?" Girl, "No, I want to defend the galaxy." Mom, look at this pink stuff. Girl, you're making me go to the dark side. Overheard in the women's bathroom. I just feel so stupid. No, he's the stupid one. He's the stupid asshole. Look at yourself. You're a F*** king goddess and he's a shitty shoebox. Oh my God, thank you. What's your name? Shauna. I'm Mandy. I overheard a man come out to his friend as bisexual in a beer garden. The friend's reaction was, any hole's a goal, mate. Fair play. Last year, two athletic-looking young men sitting on the bus were talking pretty loudly about their girlfriends for several minutes. One was talking about how he found his GF fiddling with his controller and wished she would play Xbox with him, like that would be mind-blowingly cool. The other guy kept saying how things were so new and he was still getting used to living together, like it was kind of a tough adjustment, complaining about her leaving her stuff everywhere. Then they busted out pics on their phones and started saying, "Ah, she's so cute, really gorgeous," etc. One guy comments he's getting a little worried about his girl putting on weight, and the other guy says his girl is so young that she's still in her skinny phase. Listened to those guys yap for almost 10 minutes and was starting to get a little surprised at some of their comments before either one of them finally said the word cat. They were talking about their cats. I'm a server, and on checks I always write "thank you" with a smiley face on the top. Well, tonight I was serving a group of boys and I dropped the check off, turned to walk away, and overheard the one who paid, and he was like, "Dude, look, she put a smiley face. She freaking wants me." Ooh. I was an operator for a dark ride that moves slowly through different scenes. Suddenly, an emergency alarm went off. We had to e-stop the ride and turn on the work lights. A guy had jumped out of his vehicle because he dropped his hat. He was wandering around on the track, near high-voltage bus bars and moving animatronics. When we finally extracted him, he tried to fight the security guards, screaming that we owed him a new hat because the wind inside the building knocked it off. On a bus, once I heard a kid ask his dad, "How do you know you picked the right life?" And the dad just went quiet for a good 10 seconds before saying, "I don't. I just try to make this one worth it." I still think about that all the time. I was a lifeguard at the lazy river. A man was floating with his young daughter. He kept trying to flip other people's tubes over as a joke. He flipped an elderly woman who panicked because she couldn't swim well. I blew my whistle and told him to stop. He swam over to the edge and yelled, "It's a water park. You're supposed to get wet. Lighten up." We kicked him out, and he told his crying daughter that the lifeguard is a fun police Nazi.